Sutro Baths was called a glass palace at the edge of San Francisco. It took 10 years to build. It lasted 70 years, one afternoon, one pyromaniac, one match, and it was gone. Adolf Sutro was born in 1830 in Aachen, Germany, and at age 20, his family immigrated to the United States, becomes a self-taught engineer specializing in mining. Sutro was one of a large number of people that made ungodly amounts of money in the Comstock. Sometimes people are called the silver barons. Some historians estimate at one point he owned a 1/12 of the land area of San Francisco. He started out building very lavish gardens around his home, a place called Sutro Heights. He was always enchanted by tide pool, and supposedly Sutro decided that he could do better. On one side of Point Lobos, he blasted out a big flat catch basin only a few feet above high tide level. And in the first stage, it's an aquarium. And then he decides, well, if you've gone that far, let's subdivide the whole cove into concrete swimming tanks. And by the time he's done, he's created what he called the Sutro Baths. They begin building a roof over the thing, and in 1894, it's ready to open to the public. The term they used at the time was a natatorium, combined with a museum of all the oddities he'd collected during his travels and artworks. And they did have vaudeville acts that took place. They covered over one pool and turned it into a stage. They had band performances. And it was the biggest indoor natatorium in the world. The building itself covered close to 2.5 acres, 100,000 square feet of glass over the tanks. There were 7 different swimming pools. 6 of them were filled with salt water, heated to various temperatures. The warmest one was about 90 degrees. The coldest one was whatever the ocean was serving that day. You could handle about 15,000 patrons sitting and standing, just watching. In the 1930s, Adolf Sutro's grandson decided to refurbish the baths, try to give them a new lease on life. They installed an ice skating rink, which was very popular. When the baths really did their best business was during World War II. In September 1952, George Whitney steps up and he says, "I'll buy Sutros." Oddly though, after only 1 year, he shuts down the actual swimming baths and just runs the museum portion and the ice skating rink. That's when a lot of people my age, that's how we remember going to Sutros. They announced in late 1965 the cove was going to be rebuilt as condominiums. They were 2 weeks into demolition when what everybody calls a very convenient fire broke out, and the building burned in one afternoon. It was a huge conflagration. The smoke could be seen all over the Bay Area, and Sutros was gone. The conclusion was it was arson, and the fellow who was believed to have started the fire, he had a background as a pyromaniac. In 1972, Congress created the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, and eventually it was purchased for $7 million in 1980. What remains of Sutro Baths today are first the 400-foot-long seawall. At the very north end, you can make out the original semicircular aquarium. There is a big open-mouthed tunnel that goes clear through Point Lobos. It was a tunnel that was built to quarry additional rock. The site is really kind of returning to a natural state. It's a dangerous place, especially at night. We've lost people off the rocks down there. The overwhelming thing that we hear from people is don't ruin the ruins. Now it's become part of San Francisco's legend, and we're talking about this site that only a little over 40 years ago was standing intact, but how quick our young city needs ruins and it needs legends.